In 2007, we welcomed a new addition to our family. We had a new baby boy, Jhett, and everything seemed to be going along just fine until at 9 months, we noticed one morning that Jhett had stopped breathing. My husband performed CPR and Jhett was meta-flighted to Oklahoma City Children's Hospital, where he was put in a medically induced coma. It wasn't until just a few hours after he had been admitted that we realized that he was going to need a heart transplant.
So where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? 'Cause everything has changed. Everything has changed.
At the time, Oklahoma City did not have a pediatric heart transplant center. So we were able to have him meta-flighted to Houston, Texas, to Texas Children's Hospital, where within just 9 days, he received a heart. Shortly after that, within just 3 months, Jhett was back home in Oklahoma. The first 4 years after Jett's transplant was great. He was basically just a regular 4-year-old little boy. He was attending school. It wasn't until one of his monthly regular clinic visits that they noticed that his heart rate was elevated and he was diagnosed in severe heart failure. Shortly after that, they spoke to us about relisting him on the transplant list. So at 4 years old, Jhett was listed for a second heart transplant, and he has been in Houston waiting for his second heart for 5 years.
Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? 'Cause everything has changed. Everything has changed.
LifeShare has impacted my entire family by making us more aware of organ donation. I was not an organ donor until Jhett received his heart transplant. I was reading the paper one day and noticed that LifeShare was doing a story on a young man who had been an organ donor, and I knew that it was important for me to get the story out about my son as well. I called LifeShare and they were more than willing to do the story on Jhett, and ever since then they've been a huge part of our lives. Since waiting for his second heart transplant in Houston, Jhett has become quite the avid golfer. He's now able to play at the Kingwood Country Club in Kingwood, Texas, where he recently was asked to do a commercial for the PGA. And we were more than excited to share his story of organ donation, not only through the PGA, but also on a national level.
I want people to know that organ donation saved my brother's life.
And my son's life. So make the decision today, because you never know whose life you might save.